Hey, 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 everybody. Happy Wednesday evening. I am just giving this live a couple of minutes for my guest to show up. And I think I need to turn off notifications and I didn't. So that's going to be a problem. But no, it's not. It's not going to be a problem. Just giving it a couple of minutes. Happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. That just came. Oh, notifications. What are you doing to me? Completely forgot to turn those off. But we're going to ignore those, aren't we? And for anyone who listens to the replay, thank you so much. My name is Lisa Scott. I am a manifest coach and metaphysician, and I assist professional women to answer the call to your soul calling career by learning how to stop worrying about the how, which is the number one reason why people do not move forward on what it is that they desire to do in your life. And also, I have been offering a new service, a brain balancing sessions. And one of my dear clients was so gracious to do a testimonial of her experience. She actually wanted to provide a testimonial, and I am honored to do so. So I'm just waiting for her to come on the live with me. And it is my pleasure, and I'm excited to hear what she has to say about her experiences with regard to having had a brain balance session with me, so that those who are not familiar can have an opportunity to understand exactly what this is all about. And I am going to see, Jerica's here. Oh boy, Jerica, let me see if I can invite you on the screen. I've never done this before. Now, it says, Jerica, that I don't know if it's from your end. Oh, you're on your laptop. Okay. Yeah, I'm on my cell phone, and I thought it might be better to use the cell phone because I might see where you're able to, request to be a part of the live, because I'm not seeing how I could tap on you and invite you on. So let's just, for anybody watching, which I don't think there's anybody here yet, but we're just troubleshooting this. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to try to move up. Wait a minute. Bring them on camera. Here we go. Their friends won't be able to watch this video unless they're in your selected audience. Okay. Add. I think it's working. It says adding. Says ding.
Yay! We did it.
We did it.
Let me see if I can. I don't have a little stand. I have my phone just setting on this box. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. That. Hey, we're gonna roll with it.
Listen, you should see my setup. You should see my setup, because I was in the living room trying to set this all up, but I didn't like the lighting.
Yeah.
So I said, let me move to my bedroom, which I love the lighting in my bedroom. So listen, you should, if you saw how this is set up, Jerica, I'm giving myself away, but we going with it.
Yes. Let me grab a light. Look.
Okay, sure. Take your time. Take your time.
Okay.
So everybody, I'm going to let Jerica introduce herself. Again, my name is Lisa Scott. I am a manifest coach and metaphysician, and I assist professional women. And I help them specifically to answer the call to your soul calling career by learning how to stop worrying about the how. And also I offer brain balancing sessions, which Jerica, as I said before, was so gracious to provide this wonderful testimonial. And we're just going to free flow here because that's how we do it. And first of all,
Yes.
Jerica, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you.
Happy Wednesday. So we're here live. So I was thanking anyone who decides to press the replay, whatever questions they may have as related and pertaining to our discussion that we're about to have. And first of all, Jerica, I want you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I am Jerica Glasper. I'm a mindset and manifestation coach, and I specialize in helping conscious women entrepreneurs manifest media for their message. That is my new mission right now going into the new year, is helping more women, transformational coaches, life coaches, therapists.
Incredible. That is a absolutely necessary service. And when I saw that you were offering that, I was just lit up on the inside. And
Yes.
the first question I'm going to ask Jerica is, what caused you or what interested you when you first saw that I was offering brain balancing? When you saw the message, when you saw the post on Facebook, what is it that drew you to deciding that you wanted to do that? That you wanted to have a brain balancing session?
Number one, because it's you. And you're awesome. So I know that for me, there are signs that come up where I know that there's something holding me back. I can't put my finger on it. And so whenever you said, hey, this session is going to help you get into your subconscious and put those beliefs in there where you know they're there. So it's beyond affirmations, beyond a state akin to sleep, beyond hypnosis and all that, which I think hypnosis works as well. But I'm just saying, I know for a fact if I did this, that I would have the beliefs that I've been speaking, that they would actually be implanted. And so that's what I really want to experience, is like, okay, let's get this deep down inside.
Yes, and you actually brought up something that I want to zoom in on a little bit further down the line. Just keep in mind that the part where you talked about affirming all the things that we in the manifestation conscious community that we talk about, we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. But there is a newly installed belief that you ended up installing during our session. However, it started out in another way.
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind, because that is the belief that you expressed online, I wanted to take people kind of through the process or the experience that you had when we first sat down and we first started to talk about what is it that you want to transform? What are the areas of your life that you want to see transform? And you don't have to tell everybody what those are. However, let's zoom in on the one that you did share on Facebook.
Okay. No,
so if you wouldn't mind talking about that experience. Okay, whatever you're open to talking about, let's do it.
Okay, well, I'm an open book for this, because I want people that are watching that are like, okay, what can I expect? Or how do I know this is right for me? I knew it was right for me because there was something holding me back. There was something holding me back. There's a nagging or a pulling within, like there's something that I need to get to the root cause of so that I can continue to move forward. I was moving forward, but not in the way that I knew I could powerfully. So that's why I booked, because I said, you know what, I need to get out of my own way. And I know that we're like-minded. I know you're a great coach. And so I was like, Lisa is the person to do this with. You're a coach's coach, as I said in my written testimonial. And the thing is that sometimes what's in the way, we think it's something in the way, but it's really something deeper than that. And so for me, it was my weight. Um, like a lot of people, I put on a lot of weight in this last year, sitting at the house, probably about 40 pounds. And this is the heaviest I've ever been. And I tried working out, changing my diet, home workouts, gym workouts, walking in the neighborhood, but just for some reason that scale in the clothes they were not budging. And so I was like, okay, there's something here that I need to release, because I know that everything is energetic and emotional. And so that was what I identified: my weight and my relationship, because I'm in an 8-year relationship. We're doing premarital counseling right now. So I just wanted to be at peace with where we are in our journey and not compared to other people's relationship.
Absolutely. And how did you feel, or take people through? Because I would rather you take people through the process, because you were the one on the receiving end of what the experience was like.
Yes.
Tell the people about my demeanor, your comfort zone. When we first got together, we were talking about something, and then we shifted into something else. Just,
Yes.
kind of take the people through what that process was like for you. Listen, I decided, I said, you know what? She's talking about PR. I'm going to let her be my PR.
Yes, yes. I will sell it. I will sell
But no, there's nothing like an objective point of view. I mean, I can say what the service is, I can put it out there as much as I can, but when people hear someone else's um, objective and subjective, because you were a part of the process, but when you have an opportunity to share from your perspective, it can take people there. So what was the process? What was it like? And you don't have to tell them, and I don't want you to tell them every single method or any of that, because they need to have
Yes.
a brain balancing session for that.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
would like for people to hear from you what the process was like for you.
Okay. So we got on a call. Um, and your energy was very compassionate, very loving, very supportive, and I felt safe. I am a coach. I coach other people, and so for me, I felt like I was safe enough to kind of let my guard down, which I cried, I laughed, I celebrated, I did all the things, but just initially getting on the Zoom call, feeling safe, feeling relaxed, and then you had great step-by-step guidance, and just allowed me the space to shift my perspective and really let the work do the work.
Yes, I love that you said that. And how did you feel? Because as you started to share in the beginning, you talked about the weight being your perception of what you believed was what you were looking to shift.
Yes.
And as we, from your perspective, what started to happen as we began to discuss, and I was your guide, because this is what I want people to understand. You just said it, but I want people to understand that it is not Lisa that is telling you what the new belief is. It is you all the way talking to me about what it is that you're looking to transform in your life. And then I guide you through a process by asking certain questions that ultimately start to allow you the process of going within yourself and really getting to the core and the root of what it is that you're seeking to clarify in terms of the belief that you're looking to, the new belief that you're looking to install. So
Yeah.
how did you feel, and what was the process when you thought it was one thing and it turned out it was something else?
Yes. Okay. I believe a lot of our adult quibbles, as Neville calls it, our quibbles, our blocks, our trauma, our our responses to life come from childhood or come from teenage years. And so I realized that the weight that I was carrying, really, when I started looking at it, it has been a safety mechanism for me, comfort for me, because growing up, I have memories of me being in second grade, and I loved school. I loved reading. I love, like, I was the girl, like, in class, like, oh, me, I know the answer. Oh, me. And then my teacher was like, okay, Jerica, you know, you got to let some other people answer the question. So I always
Right.
felt like I was too much. Like, maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I'm doing too much. And so that carried on into, you know, teenage years and even early adulthood, dating situations. I feel like family dynamics were impacted by that. Um, Friendships, business, where I felt like, oh, I don't want to do too much. So let me pull back. And I have always been, before this, a really thin, fit person. I used to love working out for hours and hours. And when I had my son, I was 140 pounds, almost 8 months pregnant, soaking wet. So I'm used to being, having a petite size. So I didn't really know how to carry this weight, but there was something that happened with a friend where I felt a little shamed by my size back then, being a smaller size. And so I realized that over the years, when I packed on the weight, it was more of a protective type of thing. Like, let me not be too much. Let me not embrace what I love about myself, so I can make other people comfortable, and not just the body, but it's, speaking up and doing different things in business. Like, okay, let me not be too much. Let me not do that because I don't want to offend or piss people off. So that was what came up. The weight wasn't in the way. The thing that was in the way is that I was dimming my own light to please other people. That's what came up.
Okay, so just to clarify for everyone, you started out believing, because I asked a question in the beginning. I send a set of questions, very brief questions, and I
Yes.
ask, what areas of your life are you looking to see change in? That's one of the
Yes.
questions. And you came up with three things.
Yes, I did.
And we immediately, when we got on the call together, a Zoom call together, I asked what felt like your priority. And the first thing you said was weight.
Mm-hmm.
And as we began to go through the process, and I acted as your guide, which is what my role is, you began to uncover for yourself that it really wasn't the weight. As you began to go through your own body and mind and process the information, and this is what I love about uncovering the languaging of the subconscious mind, because we don't necessarily know. We know that 95% of our daily actions, the subconscious mind is responsible for 95% of our daily actions, while the conscious mind is only responsible for about 10%.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so initially, for a lot of people, they may say this is what the thing is, because that appears to be what's at the forefront of the mind. But
Yeah.
as we go within ourselves and we start to hear more clearly, because I believe that that safe space that you said that I provided, it's a quiet, safe space where you can begin to hear from within yourself.
Yes.
And what we were both experiencing was you processing the inner conversations and the subconscious messaging that was playing itself out in the background, although
Yeah.
in the foreground it appeared to be weight.
Yes.
And as you uncovered this messaging and you um, understood that some of that messaging had to do with I was too much, or, whatever that messaging was, I was shrinking myself back, because I perceived I was too much for whatever the messaging was.
Yes.
The next step was to come up with what your belief is. What is the newly installed belief
The new
that you
belief.
wanted to install? And
Yeah.
you said, what did you say?
What
I
the belief is?
accept.
I accept
Yes.
my life. I accept
I
my light.
accept my light.
Yes.
And it was like
Yeah.
a ray of light came into the room. I told you, I said, is sunshine coming in your window? And you said no. But I was witnessing before my eyes that just kind of was shooting out of you because you were having that experience. And I don't know if I was, gifted in seeing it. I don't know, but I know what I saw. I know what I saw.
Yeah.
And I kept seeing this ray of light just shooting out of you, almost in confirmation of this is it. This
Yeah.
newly installed belief. You were already believing it in that moment.
Yes.
But then there's another process that we go through. This is the part where I'm like, the fact that I get to hear and witness what your process was, and you may not remember everything that was happening, and you don't even need to state it, but just generally speaking, how did you feel when you got a chance to experience for yourself the transformation inwardly from where you were in your subconscious mind, and the process that your own subconscious mind took you through in order to go from where you were to the newly installed belief of I accept my light? What was that process like, as much as you want to share about it?
Okay. It was definitely a process of surrender and observation. Surrendering to the things that I stuffed in and bottled in and pushed under the rug and ignored, all of the inner conversations that, like you said, were playing in the background, allowing those to get washed out. Just because I think in the transformational space, personal development, manifesting, law of attraction, there's this belief that you can't be sad, you can't be mad, you gotta push the feelings down, you can't feel them. And like I had a coach that says what's in the way is the way. And so I had to let it all come to the surface. I had to let it bubble up so I can address it and deal with it. And at the beginning, I was like, my anxiety was a little high because I'm like, oh my God, I'm allowing all this stuff that I've pushed down to come up. What is getting ready to happen? But it was a beautiful process of release, of peace, of growth and change and shifting. And like you said, the subconscious mind, which I like to say, like my higher self, my divine self stepped in and did a lot of the work with me, with the physical me and my higher self. Hey, let's get through this together. And so the voice, the voice I heard. So it's our inner critic, our inner nag that we have that says, oh, you can't do that, or you can't do it. Who are you? And I let that person just come on in. And it was interesting because it was a man. I'm like, why is this man telling me I can't, So when I have my eyes closed, I heard this man's voice as my intercom, because usually it's my voice. But when I got quiet, it was this man's voice. I'm like, no, you can't do that. And you can't do this. And no. And so allowing all that to come out and then moving forward with the process that we went through was just beautiful to release all of that.
Yes. And did it take long, Jerica?
No, it did not take long at all.
About how many minutes did it take?
Maybe like 5. It was like I feel like it was like maybe 5-7 minutes of just.
I had to zoom in on that because, and we'll highlight that part that we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
In the conscious community, and now I understand there are various conscious communities. Okay. So when we say conscious, we're talking about consciously aware that the subconscious mind is responsible for our lives, and that we have the ability to zoom in on our inner conversations, our subconscious mind. We understand basically the science of how the body works.
Yes.
And we are consciously not just understanding this, but we are in a space of honoring the fact that that is the case. This is not philosophy. This is not a methodology. This is not that. This is the science of how the body works.
Yes.
This is no matter who you are, no matter what your age, your gender, your status, your this, your that.
Yes.
This is how the body works. And we have become aware of this. And because we have become aware of this, this is what I mean by conscious.
Yes.
So we are, consider ourselves conscious manifestors, consciously aware. So I just wanted to highlight that because there are various conscious communities.
Yes.
But what I want to zoom in on with our community and with this particular community, I don't want to own the community because I don't. But we know that we have been in certain circles. A lot of us who are in these various circles, we've been around each other in various ways that are very similar and foundational to the manifesting community. Some of those things are having read various books by all kinds of thought leaders. And let me disclaimer this by saying that myself and Jerica do not devalue any of it.
No.
But when you learn better and you know better, you do better. And it is our responsibility. I like what a friend of mine said when she said that it is our responsibility to outgrow our mentors. And so this is not about staying behind any of our mentors. This is about understanding something greater, deeper, quicker, whatever that may be. And depending on who the individual is and what you're looking for me, I was looking for quicker. I have been doing this work since 2011. And I know how quick it can go, and I know how slow it can go. And so I'll go back to some of the foundational things that we all understand that many, 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 possibly hundreds of thousands of us are doing. And that is, we are reading certain books. We are, we call certain people that are thought leaders our mentors. And there are certain processes and steps that we have come to understand over the years, such as affirmations, auto-suggestion, meditation, and I'm talking about with regard to transforming a particular belief. So I'm not telling anyone not to do these things on a regular basis or as your daily life practice. Meditation is absolutely incredible. It helps to grow the gray matter of the brain. So I'm not talking about generally speaking meditation. I'm talking about zooming in on particular beliefs and utilizing certain practices to transform certain beliefs. So that is what I'm talking about. And we have been taught, trained to do certain things. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
We've been taught to, I'm keeping it real. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Now, the thing that I know has worked, and this is where we're at, the thing that I know that has worked, which kind of took me off of the beaten path of the masses in the conscious manifesting community, is that just what we talked about. I learned that the quickest way to be able to transform a self-limiting belief is by facing the communication that is going on the inside.
That's it.
Not by acting like it doesn't exist, not by affirming it away, not by praying it away, not by any of those things have I ever, and this is my personal experience, and we, you know,
Yes.
and here's what I want to say about this too. You know, we'll just keep it going back and forth.
Yes.
I have never transformed something without being consciously aware first of what the hindrance was to begin with.
Mm.
And what I am not saying is that you have to stay there.
Mm.
I am not saying that it needs to take any amount of time at all.
Yeah.
I'm saying that no sooner than you zoom in on what your communication is as quickly as you can transform it. And
Yeah.
I believe that this is some of what the issue is. I believe that people are perceiving that when you tell them to turn around and look, that you're telling them to stay, that you're telling them to get married to the pain, that you're telling them to it needs to take a long time. I am not saying any of that.
No.
I am saying that almost as quickly as I've ever understood what I was talking about, what I was being hindered by, is as quickly as I was able to allow it to either, it wanted to be recognized. It was like, hey, you know what I mean? I'm here. And as quickly as it was honored as a part of our being, meaning what I've come to understand is that we're talking about loving ourselves 100% while denying 50%. And so how are you loving 100% when you are denying 50% or devaluing 50%? And I'll say this also, and then I want to let you speak on it. Speak on it, right?
Yes.
You have mentioned Neville. We met each other through Neville Goddard circles. For anyone who doesn't know who Neville Goddard is, he is an incredible, eloquent master at manifesting. Neville is no longer with us, and a lot of our community that we, met in, were students of Neville Goddard. I am a student, however, I'm not a follower. So there's a difference in you have to allow these things. You must have your own personal experience with anything in order for it to become not just believed, but known.
No.
And Neville Goddard came into my space. I won't say I came into Neville Goddard's space. I'll say he came into my space because I completely understood everything that he was saying. I was already having these experiences pre-Neville Goddard. We, human beings, are having these experiences pre-Neville Goddard. He is only highlighting, bringing to the forefront, helping us to understand what we are already experiencing.
Exactly.
There's a difference in being a follower of something and being an experiencer of something. So I digress a little bit because we have mentioned that name. And I want people to understand, because our circles are going to see this. So I wanted to talk about it. When I love Neville Goddard quotes, and I will look for quotes to help me to understand something deeper. And I was asking, I said, what's up with this thing right here that people keep going through? What's up? And I found a quote. He said, "You cannot ascend with grievances."
Oh, that is good.
He said, if you want to follow, He said you cannot
Wow.
ascend with grievances. And what that
Mm,
means is you cannot go from one state of being to another, holding on to the old state of being.
yes.
What exists in the old state of being? The emotions, memorized emotions, reactions, all of these things that people are not paying attention to. Okay?
Yes.
So if we turn around and we look and we see, then as we address quickly, if you're skilled at doing that, which is why I love the brain balancing session, because
Yes.
you no longer, even if you were someone who wasn't skilled at it, you don't need to worry about it. Come on over here, let's get a brain balancing session, and you don't have to worry about that. But
Yes.
I want you to speak to what I was just talking about from your perspective, and
Yes.
also to share with people from your experience. Have you had to affirm a thing? Have you had to pray about? Have you had to do any of the things that we have been taught that we need to do once your subconscious was rewired to accept the belief? Have you had to do any of that?
Okay. No, I have fully accepted the new belief. Okay.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Okay. I love Neville.
Oh, and I just want to say hi to Floss. Hi, Floss.
Yeah,
I'm
hey,
waving
Floss.
at you. Hey, Floss. We both know Floss.
Yes.
Thank you for being here, Floss.
Yes. Let's see. I
Talk
love
about
Neville.
it.
I'm a Neville remixer. I'm a Neville like I'll take some
Remix
things,
it.
I'm a remix it. And at the end of the day, he teaches the law of assumption, but his law of assumption comes from the law of liberty, the perfect law of liberty, which means that I'm completely free. So anything that I gravitate towards, it has to give me that power and freedom. I don't care if it's chakras, I don't care if it's crystals, I don't care if it's tarot cards. I need to be free and not the thing freeing me. So as long as the thing isn't freeing me and telling me and I'm free, and I can say, oh, I got a deck somewhere. Let me see. I got my little deck somewhere. I love these cards. It's an oracle deck. So just like affirmation cards, kind of. They don't dictate my week or my day, but they're fun to look at. I focus on what Neville says, that if I'm free, then I'm free. I dare to assume that I'm free. And then you also spoke on not looking at the thing. And I think that's what we have been taught is like, okay, you can shift into these states, but what happens when you're shifting and you didn't deal with the poo, the stuff, the yuck back here? And why you keep going back to that old state is because, like you said, you can't ascend if you're holding on to this unforgiveness, as Neville says. The unforgiveness is, what did Neville call it? He doesn't call the regular forgiveness. It's forgiving yourself for not being, I don't know if he's saying it, for not being in your ideal. That's his definition of forgiveness is different. But I went back and I forgave myself during our session. I had to go back and just look, clean slate, like actually let's sit down and let's actually dig up all the stuff and let's forgive it all. Forgive the people, forgive yourself. Let's just move forward. And once I implanted that new belief, I accept my light. I had been having just some back and forth with myself. Like, I've been a manifestation coach. I've done publicity coaching and consulting. And I was like, well, I'm going to be too much if I try to do this. And I've been doing that. That's too much. And so after we did that session, immediately after, I got to work on what I'm offering now, which is my 5-day media challenge. Because I'm like, I accept my light. This is me shining. I'm going to do this. So yes.
So yes. It brings me to tears, actually.
Listen, I'm free.
Woo,
I let it all go.
I'm,
I'm free.
I'm,
It's a beautiful place to be free. And you gave me a way. It wasn't talk therapy. It wasn't life coaching, which I'm all for that. I've done all of it. But this, when you said it, I knew when you said you will, without a doubt, have that new belief planted. It's not, oh, maybe it's planted. Oh, maybe I did my affirmations right. Oh, maybe I did my visualizations right. I don't know if it worked. No, with you, it worked, and we knew, we tested it, and it worked, and it has been manifesting in my life exactly how we did the work. It's like, hey, this is Jer, this is me. So thank you.
when you,
Thank you for that. The gift.
yeah, well, I can't, I'll accept the thank you. I'm going to
Yeah.
accept the thank you for guiding the process. However, to be able to say that you are the one. I was just the guide. You were listening. You were hearing. I was simply asking the questions. And but this is the power and the brilliance of who we are, and to just have um, a guided process that can
Yes.
assist where there's no fluff, where some of the things I say is yeah, we have to go back and visit the childhood trauma just a little bit, but it's only to clarify your intention behind what you're saying.
Yes.
But did we stay there long?
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
So
No.
we had an hour-long session where within the first 5 minutes of you're coming up with your newly installed belief, or what you wanted your belief to be. We talk through the process and all of that. But to witness how quickly that you went from what your previous state of being was to experience the neurological shift inside of your body,
Yes.
and to witness you come out, be able to tell me what that whole process was.
Yes.
And then, like you said, to top it off. I mean, you already went through the process, but to top it off, okay, to have a process to test whether your subconscious mind has truly accepted the new belief
Yes.
is a whole nother ballgame.
It is. Okay. State shifting.
Go ahead. State
Oh,
shifting.
I love in my Father's house there are many mansions that
Oh,
Neville talks about. I love
yeah.
it. And the reason I was like, I need to do this session with you, because I feel like a lot of, this is my personal belief, this is my personal experience, for me, that I've seen, that I've witnessed, is that sometimes us in the personal development space think that we don't need a coach, or we don't need someone to hold space for us to transform, because we've read the thing, we've listened to the thing, we have hours of knowledge on the thing. But I humbled myself and I said, you know what? I need to do this process, because when I talk about shifting states, I love shifting states. I read, just like Jesus in the Bible had his disciples and they renamed themselves. If you look at my profiles, Jerica Glasper, I renamed myself to get into a state. I listened to music to get into. So I was like, this is the ultimate state shift. This is the ultimate release of the old and stepping into the new. And I was like, there's something, because it plants itself when I do it, but there's something that's just still holding on to my ankle while I'm walking. It's just dragging with me. I'm moving, but something is there. And you helped me realize what that was. And so thank you for that, because I'm like, that's what it was. I needed to look at it, not, oh, let me do this, and it's great. I still do those things, but I know now that it's completely cut off for me. So
Yes.
yes.
Woo! Oh my God. I wish I had like something I could bang on, and because listen, I don't even have something I can go click, 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 click.
Yes.
Because you are expressing the exact same experience that I too had when I first did a brain balancing session, and I said, "This is it. This is it. This is it." And just like you said, I needed to humble myself and get the help that I was looking for.
Yes.
And when I did that, and my brain balancing coach, we went through all the things, and here's I'm trying to put my finger on, and you can attest to it, because I can feel the shift within you as well. It's not just the things that we talked about that are being shifted. Okay, that's what I wanted to say.
What you talked about on the virtual summit about revision, it was the ultimate revision and state shift, and affirmation, like affirmed, planted, done, signed, sealed, delivered. This is my new state in my body, in my mind, know it to be true type of experience. And it was just, yeah. But you talked about revision. So when I did the work, all the you tell it, because you know it. you know that quote.
I wish I had that quote, Jerica, now that you brought it up, because I want to read it verbatim. But
I know, so good.
What Neville talks about is that our past, our present, and our future are all one interconnected, interrelated relationship.
Yes.
And once we shift one area of any aspect of any of those areas, it affects the whole thing.
The whole time. Yes.
And the whole timeline. And that was my experience pre having any brain balancing work.
Yes.
I'll just share. We gonna listen. You tell me when you gotta go.
Get on Clubhouse.
We need to get. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Yes.
But I had an experience where and many of my people that are on my page, I had an experience, and again, this was brain balancing, and also this is how I knew that this was the work I needed to be doing, because it was already in line. And I had several people tell me, they brought this up to me and said, you need to be doing this. And I heard it the first time, and I was like, okay, yeah, all right. And then I heard it a second time, and then I heard it a third time. So it was like, okay. They were confirming that you're already doing this work. Like, you're already doing it. But because I didn't know what it was yet, I didn't know what the heck they were talking about. But my experience, just real quick, was having gone back and visited my younger self. My younger energetic aspect of myself at a specific space and time. And I was able to communicate with her energetically. And I was able to give to her what she needed at that moment, the perception of what was happening in that moment. And I was giving it to her energetically. So we're having an energetic conversation back and forth.
Yes.
And when that whole process was complete, the shift and the transformation that I experienced from having gone back energetically into that space, oh man, it transformed that entire timeline from that space and time all the way through into the future. And I can only say the words. I cannot express, just like you said, with human words. I can only say that I only knew that this timeline existed when it was absent in my body. I only knew that it was there, that it had been there because it was gone. So I didn't know all the detail behind the storylines, the memorized emotion, reaction, perception, perspective, all the things that are happening as a result of something that happened back there.
Yes.
But it was all happening. And because it was happening and you're not conscious of the happening,
yes.
I didn't know. All I knew was when this experience occurred, it was all of it was gone.
Yes.
Pertaining to that particular storyline.
Yes.
And so I don't know if I came across, I think I came across the quote that Neville was talking about after I had that experience. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. We don't have to know what nothing's called. We don't have to have no type of scientific terminology. We don't need to know. I'm going to say it just like this. We don't need to know shit.
Right.
We don't need to know
just
all
like
of that.
Yeah.
We simply need to be having an experience to know, not to have an opinion or to, you know, we're sitting back collecting all of this data. Collecting and collecting and collecting.
I shut it off. I'm done collecting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's easy to shut off once you have an experience. And that's what I'm talking about, though. It's easy to shut off once you've had an experience. But it's not easy to shut off if you haven't had an experience.
Yes.
Because you feel like you keep feeling like you need to understand something else. And no, you don't need to understand anything else. The only thing you need to do is have an experience.
Yes.
Yeah, Paul said exactly. We don't need to know shit. That's what
right.
And we don't. We do not.
We're free.
Huh?
That's it. I said all we need to know is that we are free.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know, some of us, I'll say Floss is a good example. Floss being one of those conscious men, you know, that values this work, this continuous inner work. And continuous meaning, not continuous in a way that we're begrudging it or any of that. Continuous in that we honor what we're thinking.
Yes.
We honor that we're powerful. Yes. We honor that we're co-creating. We honor this. And so it's a lifestyle. It's not, I would say that any of us who've, well, you know, I can only speak for, well, you know, I'm going to speak for y'all. I'm going to speak for Floss, and I'm going to speak for you. Where I know that we don't pick it up and put it down. We don't pick it up and put it down. This is a lifestyle. We can't unknow what we know. We know. We cannot unknow.
Nope. Ain't no going back.
There's no. Once you know that you're creating your reality, there is no going back. What are you going back to? It's the most important thing you can know on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. More valuable than money. More valuable. Go ahead.
Okay. So when we had our session in the form that I filled out, said what, you know, 2 or 3 areas. I said my weight, you know, health. I said relationships, and I said finances. So when we got on the phone, you said, or got on the Zoom call, you said, which one do you want to make a priority? And the finances wasn't even the thing. Like the business and the finance, I was like, no, that ain't the thing. What I need to work on is self. That is always going to be first, and all the other stuff will fall in line when I accept my life.
And did it? And did it?
It is, and it did, and is, and will. Yes. What Floss say? Let's see.
He said, and once you know this, you have the urge to share with others and help them too. Exactly. Yeah. And it's why when I first realized this, the science and technology of who we are back in 2011, I said, consciously, I was like, what am I going to do so that I stay in this space, so that I remain accountable, not knowing that I didn't even need to go through all that. It was just a given that that was going to happen. But when I first understood it, I felt like, I don't want to let it go. I don't want to not know, you know, this information. So I said, I know, I'll become a coach. You know what I mean? And this is my message, you know.
This is your playground.
So that's what,
it's our playground. This is what we get to do.
Exactly. And we're talking so much more than brain balancing here. We're talking some life experiences and all of this, as well as the process that you went through, Jerica. And I want to make sure that we covered every area. So we talked about your experience, you know, how you were feeling with me. You said that you felt that it was a safe space. Things happened quickly. You understood the process that happened neurologically inside of the body. That was all you. I didn't do any of it. That's what I want to keep reiterating to people, that when you have a brain balancing session, this is not about someone else telling you what your belief is going to be.
I wanted to read something. I'm like, where is my phone?
And you're on it.
I was gonna read something.
You know, share it, you know, when you remember, get a chance to, because I just realized I haven't shared my link to the brain balancing session within this conversation, but I don't want to mess anything up, so I'll share it after the fact. And you can look on my page, my private page, and you'll see me, you know, posting it over and over again, because I want to have people see what I'm talking about. But I love that we are having this type of conversation. First of all, I love the free flow of it. Secondly, when people hear someone's applied experience with something, you understand this is no bull. You know what I mean? This is what I didn't feed Jerica any information. She is sharing with you firsthand what her experience was in terms of having a brain balance session. And I think we may have covered every single thing plus some. With I'm trying to search my mind and see, is there anything else that I wanted to
I do want to talk about this. Let's talk about the second. I feel like
let's talk about it. You want to talk about it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But before you talk about that, I want to zoom in on, because we didn't say this specifically, but this is what you told me.
Yes.
How has your experience with procrastination changed?
Oh, I'm more it is not an issue. I'm trying to think, like, since we've talked, like, I was on a seesaw. I was teeter-tottering, like, because I've been wanting to do this challenge that I have, and like do more media and publicity for a while, but I was like, I need to do this one thing, and that's what people need to know me for. But I was like, no, I need to do it. All marries together. Storytelling in the media, storytelling to ourselves. Let's marry it together. And so I got my funnel done. I got the flyers done. I'm getting the contents done. Like, everything just started to be like, okay, get out of your own way and let's just keep it moving. So yeah, that part was gone.
Okay, so you went from questioning, doubting, worried about, I guess I could say, your self-image or your perception in the eyes of people, because you had zoomed in on a specific type of work as a coach. And you were worried about, if I put something different out, how will people perceive this? And after you had the session, it moved that right out of the way.
Yes, because it was like, if I do this, will I be doing too much? That has been like how I check in. Jer, are you gonna be doing too much if you do that? And if I feel like I'm gonna be doing too much, then I'll do a little bit, but I won't do too much. So this is not me doing too much, but it's me accepting my light.
Yes. And when you say that messaging of too much, that was connected to the too much, that the subconscious programming that was playing itself out all this time, that you
Yes.
were not that no, you were conscious of, because it came right up. It's just that you thought something else was before that. You thought the weight was
Yeah.
the issue. And then so that messaging of too much, and you understanding this is about accepting my light. And once you reprogrammed, rewired, and understood accepting the light would burn away all other messaging, which is exactly what it did. It has, this is what I was talking about when I was saying that we may zoom in on a particular thing. However, because of the amount of subconscious programming and inner conversation that is taking place that we are completely unaware of,
Don't know.
we do
We
not
think we
know. We know, but we don't know all of the particulars of what this is going to sweep through and get rid of. And that's the thing. And that's why I said, Jerica, I said, you're going to need to get some rest.
Yes.
And ground yourself, drink some water, these things, because that is an area that I was not told when I had my session. And I'm glad I did, because I said, wait a minute. I had this experience where I said, wait a minute. And remember what you want to talk about. Mm-hmm. I had this experience where, you know how we all have a home base state of being.
Yes.
No matter what the ebbs and flow of a day are, we tend to go back to this particular state of being.
Yes.
And people know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
We have a home base.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I didn't even talk to this woman about no home base state of being that I was having. Okay. Yeah. But it was happening in the, playing itself out in the subconscious. And every once in a while, I would get that inclination, just like you were talking about. I don't like that right there.
Yeah.
That I keep experiencing over and over again. I don't like that. What is that? You know what I mean? Like that whole, and you know something's happening, but you're, well, first of all, you're not giving yourself a chance to sit down and have a conversation about it. Because if you did, you'd know. I'm sorry. It's just that simple.
That's the thing.
If you did, you'd know. Okay.
Oh, Lord. That's the thing.
Okay.
You're taught to just, okay. No.
Keep it moving. That's what you're taught to do. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep on doing what you do. Keep on getting up and functioning and going to work and taking care of the family and keep it moving. Just keep it moving. And this is the power of humbling ourselves to get assistance from someone else because of the objectivity. First of all, the professionalism. They must be professional. They must be skillful. So I let me put that out there.
Yes.
But this is the power of objective, skillful, professional assistance. Because it offers us an opportunity to stop playing the role, the character that we are playing, okay? Yes. Put down the character and pick up self. Yes. And get real with yourself, okay? Yes. So that's the power. Okay. Now we all have the ability to do this, but this is helpful. This is extremely helpful. And so I kept getting that inclination about this particular state of being, but I didn't bring it up. I didn't, it just wasn't at the forefront of my conversation.
Yeah.
But there were several areas that were addressed. And just, I don't know, several weeks ago, I kept saying, I was in this flow. I am in this flow that is so powerful that all I can say is it was sweeping me off my feet.
Mm.
I didn't feel in a good way. I needed to ground myself because it was so powerful. I said, what is this? Like, what is happening? It was like I was caught up in a current, in a flow, in a river, in a flow.
Mm.
And so I sat with myself for a minute. I said, I need to get an understanding of what this is. And when I sat and I listened and I paid attention, I said, home base is gone.
Mm.
That home base state of being, it was gone. It's gone. I don't even have a reference.
Yeah.
I have a memory that I had it.
Yeah.
But the neurological relationship of memory, emotion, all of that was happening in my body is no longer there.
Mm.
And
That's
so I understood that. And then I asked my second coach, because I had two different brain balancing. I said, what is this? And she talked about, I think Floss might have said it. Wait a minute. Let me go back.
Okay.
I'm going to see if Floss said something. I thought he did, and I wanted to refer to it if he did. Oh, maybe he did. He probably said it in some other kind of way. But I'm like, every time I go to scroll up, it keeps popping me back.
Yeah, I'm not good.
And I don't want to mess things up. Okay. I don't want to mess things up. I thought Floss said something about it, but bottom line is that state of being, that home-based state of being was gone. Oh, and what the one young lady said to me was, she was explaining about a triangle. She said, imagine a triangle made of empty boxes, just use that as an analogy. And, the foundation being the biggest row at the bottom, and you're going up, right? So that's foundationally your emotions, memorize emotions, all of this stuff is the foundation. And we took away one of the empty boxes. And so everything that was being supported by that lower level comes toppling down. Yes. Because it was all being supported by this foundational state of being. I'm like, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Yes.
So now I prepare my clients.
Yes. And you did.
I don't know everything. I don't know everything that your shift is going to affect. We're going into the operating system.
Yeah.
And we're about to, you know what I mean? You know what? Yeah. We're going to talk about it. I love when we were about to go in and shift something. And you said, oh, that's not the word. But we're gonna go ahead. Go ahead. It's your turn.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Okay, so
go ahead.
We'll talk about the second thing that we shifted during our session. And if whoever's watching this, go book a session. Just quit playing. Just go do it. Because you want to. So just go ahead and do it now. But one of the things we talked about was my just relationships. I've been with my fiance for 8 years now. We're engaged, doing premarital counseling, and getting ready to get to that forever moment where we get married. But the Instagram where I met him last Friday and I already got the ring and we getting married next Friday at the beach. And you're like, oh, dang, I ain't getting married at no beach. I ain't, you start comparing. Well, not you, but me. I started comparing myself to the scroll-worthy relationships in the timeline. If he doesn't marry you and da-da-da in 2 days, then he don't really love you, like all that type of stuff. So those were some of the beliefs. And then maybe looking at, and this, I was thinking about this before our call today, where people love the honeymoon phase of their relationship. It's like, oh, we're in the honeymoon phase. And when that phase goes away, we think that we're in a bad phase because it's not the honeymoon phase. But there's actually, I don't know what the words are for these phases. And I've been inspired to now name them because there are, it doesn't have to be, oh, when the honeymoon phase is over, the lights go out. And I think that's the belief and programming that I had. We are beyond the, we're still lovey-dovey, but we give each other space. We do the date night, but we're not like, the honeymoon phase. Like, we've been together 8 years, but we work.
The illusion.
We work, and we've been working.
The illusion.
Together. Yes.
Right.
So if we did not work, we wouldn't make it past that. We wouldn't be 8 years in. And so a lot of my things were, well, it's not like it used to be, or what about, getting married in 2 days like everybody else? I'm being facetious, but
no, I get it. I get it.
Yes. So what came up was like, I really want to love and accept the space that I'm in my relationship and not judge it against the backdrop of anybody else's, because we've had, he's had things go on. I've had things go on, just with health and with jobs and careers and moving and buying houses and all the things. So to say, oh, we should have done what they did, I don't know what their thing is. So I had to let that go. That was one of the things I was like, you said, okay, so relationship or finances? I said, no, we ain't gonna worry about that money. We're gonna get this situation right at home. And so the relationship, what came up was like, I really want to be at peace in my relationship because I love this man. And so what came up is I accept my relationship's evolution, because that embodied that as I change, as he changes, as things change, that I completely and wholly accept. However, right? Not judging how it turns out, but however it turns out, I accept the evolution of our love. And that was something that was powerful for me to accept, because I noticed instantly, like, our dynamic changed, and like he reflected that back to me. And some of the work that we did, I saw him in that. When I went within, he was there with me, and we did the work together. Even though he wasn't here physically, we did the work together during your session energetically, and immediately it was reflected in our interactions, and it's still playing itself out. There was another one. I can't remember what, but the main ones, yeah, I accept my relationship's evolution, and like, let's stop comparing. Like, that's, and so, the song, Music Soul Child, I'll love you when your hair turns gray. So when I'm doing my session with you and I was going within, that song played, and I just saw our entire life from when we were like younger, got together. We even had kids. We don't have kids together, but I saw us together at we had a son. So I see myself and my son and Kevin at my child's graduation from high school, and even into old age, we're in a rocking chair, looking at each other, still loving each other. And, just like, oh, this my boo. Like, the whole thing played out, the whole revision, it was done. So, yeah.
Okay, let's back up a minute, because first of all, I want to acknowledge OG is here. That's another one of my conscious brothers, and he's been communicating with us the entire time. Yes. And first of all, I'm gonna go back to Flaws, because he said, "Love you both." Love you, Flaws. Yes, that's our brother in manifesting and consciousness. OG is another brother. that I met here online. This is some powerful stuff. This is some powerful stuff. But he has been communicating the entire time you're talking and reflecting back to you, what he's saying in terms of prepackaged tradition, create your own, in terms of the relationship, and oh, thank you, OG. All based in the metaphysical world. He's saying the journey, not the destination. Yes, we met at the radio station. I remember where we met. I was just trying not to prolong this live, but guess what? You know what? It's just flowing the way it's flowing. But yes, we met online, or actually at the radio station, yes. And the young lady that connected me and OG, her and I met online. And so the connection made the connection that never departed in our connection. But no, I want to back up for a minute because you said a whole lot.
I did.
You said a whole lot. You wanted to, first of all, there were three things. We'll go back to, there were three things you wanted to address. And never once did we talk about the finance, which was the third thing. We did not talk about the finance at all because you said, nope, and nope. These areas here, once these areas right here are fixed, the finance is just going to be a byproduct of that. And what's so powerful about that is because you already embody that knowing, it is. It is as you say, because you already embody it with no question. That's why we never even needed to go there. But here's what I love, because part of the power of us clarifying what the newly installed belief is going to be, this is why we need to have any level of conversation at all, or else it would just be, tell me the three things, here's the new belief, and keep it moving. It's not as simple as that. It needs to have a clarity. But in that processing and clarifying that you're doing, it's actually a highlighting of an internal conversation that's taking place in the subconscious mind, because everything that's coming up is what's already happening on the inside. It's just coming to light, and it's clarifying with the exactness. And let me talk about that for a minute.
Yes.
Because I know some people want to take my head off when I say you do not need to be happy to manifest. Okay? Here's what I mean.
Yes.
You do not need to be happy. You need to be exact.
I like that.
We are I'm going to collect some data.
Yes. Yes.
Is it or is it not true that you are manifesting no matter what mood you're in?
Absolutely. That's true.
So how can it be true that the only way you're manifesting is if you're happy?
Not true.
Okay. So, and I'm not looking to take away anybody's happiness. If you want to be happy, be happy. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that the subconscious is responding to the exactness of what it is that you desire. So if you're in a bad mood and your exactness of that bad mood is what that is, you're manifesting the state that you're in. So I just want to clear that up, because to the degree that you were able to be exact, and you were able to be exact because we started with a particular, okay, Jerica, what is it that you are looking to install? And here's what you said initially, if you don't mind my sharing, with the relationship.
Yes.
You said, I accept the unbreakable bond of my relationship.
That was
I
the
wrote
other
it
one
down.
I think of. I need to write that one down. I don't have that one.
Okay. And then as you I said, all right, is that
Yes.
it? Is that it? Because this is what we're searching for. We're searching for the exactness of what your subconscious is going to accept.
Yes.
Were we searching for happiness?
No, we were searching for truth and exactness. This is what the higher self, this is what the God self is agreeing with. If this is, if it wasn't it, I couldn't be at peace with it. It was like, oh no, that's not the state. That's not the state. There's something else.
Because I love how you here we go again with, you didn't need to know shit
Nope.
about.
You didn't.
Here's what you needed to know. I said, Jerica, is that it? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what your heart is telling you? And you said, and I just clarified, once we install this new belief, Jerica, this is what's going to happen.
Yes.
And we know that's true. We know that's true.
Yep.
And initially we went to proceed, and your state was like, nope, that's not it.
Yeah.
And it was like, cut. What
See,
is it?
that's the part. That's the part that was so beautiful. Because we do this work, we try to self-diagnose and be our own doctor, which is great. I'm all for that. But sometimes you need to step up and you need to get a coach, a mentor. You need to have a session, because we can't always self-diagnose. It's just, I know this to be true. So that's what I was like, oh no, I'm doing this session. That's it.
Ooh, and let's read what Flaw said. He said, nope, you don't need to be happy to manifest is fact. Thing is, when you already have what you desire, you are in a state of peace and calmness. This is what we're talking about, Jerica. Yeah. Peace and calmness. You manifest in whatever mood, but you shape in likeness by the mood and by being specific. Thank you, Floss, because he just confirmed. This is what we're talking about. And my point of bringing that up in terms of, you got to be happy, 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 got to be in a high vibration. Got to be in a high vibration. High vibration. No, exact vibration. To the match. Exact vibration.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There is.
And just like Flaw said, when you're in the exact vibration of what you desire, you will be peaceful and calm.
Yes.
When you're not in the exact vibration, because there's a conflict in your body, between your mind and your heart and your hands, what you're putting your hands to do, when that does not match up, you are not calm or peaceful.
Yeah.
So your body is seeking alignment and balance.
Yes.
And I love what Dr. John DeMartini talks about with this. He's a human behavioral specialist. And he talks about us being within our values, functioning within our values, that everyone is always functioning within their values.
That is true.
And when your body is out of alignment of what you value, and what I mean by value is the things that you inherently get up to put your hands to on a daily basis that nobody has to remind you to do, threaten you to do, externally motivate you to do. None of this is happening with the things that are of value to you.
That is so true.
You don't even have to be externally motivated. There is no motivation. There's only you getting up doing it.
Yeah, that's it.
As a matter of fact, it is so inherently you that you don't even know it's happening.
Yep.
You don't even know what's happening because it's you. It's so you.
Yeah.
He talks about if you're out of that alignment with what you value, and you're starting to feel discomfort And ultimately that discomfort over long elongated periods of time turns into dis-ease,
Yeah.
right? Or some type of physical symptom that manifests itself externally.
Yeah.
It's only the body seeking alignment with your authentic being. And somehow you have allowed somebody else's values to impose itself upon you in whatever way, shape, or form. Perhaps you never got a chance, like we're talking about your relationship. Perhaps you never got a chance, like you were saying, I once believed this, and all of this external stuff with the person on the beach getting married, you know, you once believed that it might have served some aspect of who you were, and now it doesn't. So now you're feeling out of alignment with that. And so an internal conflict starts to ensue that's bringing up something, causing you to say, something ain't right. Something's not right.
Yeah.
Only for you to come back to alignment with yourself, with your current perception of the iteration of you that exists right now. Because we're constantly shifting iterations. You know what I mean? So the new iteration, you know what I mean? This is how expansive we are as beings.
Yes.
And this is why I appreciate what you're offering, the PR stuff. And I want to give you an opportunity to talk about that before we leave the conversation. But I appreciate that because, you know, no sooner than we try to lock ourselves down to something in particular. So you're an example, something in particular. It's like, wait a minute, there's all these other aspects and iterations and all. What about them? What about mommy me? And and white me and this me and that me. What about all of that? What about all of that? You know what I mean? So, and so we're learning we don't have to sacrifice any of it.
Yes.
It's the alignment that we're looking for. And I digress a little bit.
Yeah. I love it.
And so you we were getting ready to go in. And you were like, that's not the word. This is not it. That's not it. We need to go closer to what this is. And as you sat and you searched yourself for what it is, what is it? What is my heart wanting? You came upon, what was it, Jerica? I accept
the evolution. I accept my relationship's evolution. And I accept my relationship's unbreakable bond. Those were the two.
Yes. Yes. And such a peace came over you.
Yeah.
Such a peace came over you when you understood what the exact belief was that you were looking for. And then it was like, okay, we have permission to go in now. Now we have permission to go in and rewire.
Yes.
And install. But the incredible thing about it is it's already, as soon as you said it, it's installed. It's your body is like lighting up like, yes, that's it. Yes, that's it. Yeah. And so, but we need to, this is the part that we were talking about before, where it's a matter of allowing the inner conversations that have been taking place all this time that wouldn't allow the acceptance of. I love how you were able to tell me, everybody listen, because everybody is different. The stories that I hear of the process and the internal conversations and subconscious programming that rises up to start to confront you in terms of your newly installed belief. Once you're working with that new belief, I encourage, right, that you allow every single, solitary inner conversation that is going to rise up, which will surely rise up to begin to try to challenge your ability to move from where you're at to where you desire to be. Now, how did it, you said initially, how did it feel to understand that this was going to be the process? Now, there's a difference from hearing me say, okay, Jerica, here's what's about to happen. You're going to be hearing, messaging, and everybody's different. You might see imagery, hear messaging, hear a voice, all kinds of stuff could happen because everybody's different. So I can't tell you what's about to happen.
Yes.
I can tell you that there's getting ready to be some communication that's going to rise up to try to challenge your newly installed belief. Mm-hmm. But I tell you, allow it. Do not fight it, because what is going to happen is you're going to start to witness the fight stop and the agreement start. And that's all happening within you. And did you witness that? Did you have that experience? What happened? If you want to share, what the heck happened? Because you had me cracking up.
Okay.
You had me cracking up. And just like you said in the beginning, you said we laughed, we cried, we went through all of this. And I just want to say this: in an hour, y'all. In an hour, okay? But go ahead.
I'm a visual person. I'm an auditory person, but you know what?
Uh-oh.
This was great because I'm usually an auditory person. When I visualize, it's more of an auditory seeing. But I saw like a movie. It was like a movie playing out when I closed. Wow. Okay. So it was like a movie playing, and this is to do with my relationship. And I walked into this house with this red dress on, and there is a big mansion, and there was just many rooms. Like, in my father's house, there are many mansions. In my father's house, there are many, but in this mansion, there were many rooms. So I'm walking through, in my inner critic, my naysayer was a man dressed in a suit, but he was like a Flavor Flavs. Like, he was like a girl, you don't need a, like, I'm like, what? This is not my inner voice. I guess it was. That's how it showed up, as like a Flavor Flav, like, no, you can't, no, all that. So I'm like, okay, this man. But it's interesting because when you say the stuff is going to come up, you don't know what to expect. And so for me, it wasn't like my voice that was the antagonist. It was this, what my mind can handle was just this man, and he was just, so I'm kind of like, sir, like, you're like harmless, like, you're not, you can't intimidate me. So
Watts is laughing. He said Flavor Flav.
Yes, he was in my whole visualization, my whole session. The first one and the second was just like this man, like, no, you can't. I'm like, okay, whatever. So yeah, long story short, what you said, when we have a state that we're like, this is my new state. And then your nervous system, your memories, the inner conversations you push to the side and like, oh, no, we can't think that because this is a new state. All that comes up and you hear it. And you're like, wow, I've been telling you, these are really the conversations that are coming up just automatically on their own. So the conversation is loud, and then your belief is down here, or your state, that you want to embody is down here. And then as we were doing the work, it just did like this. And then before I knew it, this wasn't even in the picture. It was just this left. That was the new belief. So.
Yes. Yes. I love when, because you're hearing, just like you said, you are hearing the exact internal conversations that are taking place. They're happening on a subconscious level, so we don't hear them. But we are walking out and living the conversation, not what we
Hearing.
want. We're living
Yeah.
what we're hearing and experiencing, because again, the subconscious mind is responsible for 90% of your daily life. So
Yeah.
if you never hear what the subconscious mind is saying, that's why it's subconscious. You're
Yeah.
having no idea why you're repeating the same action every day, why you're living the same life, why you're perceiving things the same way, why you're reacting to things the same way, because it's subconscious. So in this space, in this safe space that is created just for you, you have the opportunity, and you feel safe to, correct me if I'm wrong, Jerica,
Yes.
you feel safe to allow the voice, because you must allow it. You must allow what is taking place. And did you have to fight it, Jerica? Did you have to fight with it?
No.
I encourage that when you hear the subconscious messaging come up, you are not struggling, fighting. You're just listening. You're just listening, and you're continuing to state the state of being that you want to be in.
Yes.
And the subconscious, the newly installed state of being, you are giving it a chance to win, and it always wins. It always wins.
It does.
It always wins. Unless, the only time I would say it wouldn't win is if that wasn't your belief to begin with, and we need to go back and talk about something or whatever. But that doesn't happen. So we don't even go into installing until we know that it's the actuality of what your heart and your higher self, whatever you deem that to be. We don't even go into the install until we know that you are accepting of this phrasing. This is why it's such a delicate process. Jerica?
Yes.
I don't know what else to say at this point.
We covered it all.
And I'm just reading. I'm reading. I want to acknowledge everyone that has been sitting here listening. Oh my goodness, thank you. Wait a minute. We had Pat here, Nancy, Tira. They may not even be here now, but if you watched a replay, thank you so much for being here. Floss, just engaging the mess out of this conversation. I'm so grateful for you, Floss. Kat, OG, engaging the mess out of this conversation. Thank you so much for being here. Jennifer is one of my high school friends. Thank you for being here, Jennifer. I don't want to miss anybody. Paula, hey Paula. Paula's going to be working with me. Another wait a minute. Are there two Jennifers? Was it two Jennifers here? Wait a minute. Hold on. I got to go back. Wait, Jennifer Hard, Jennifer Long. Yeah, both of these young ladies are from my high school days, Jerica. Oh my goodness, yes, thank you. That is so incredible to have you guys sitting here. I am so thankful. Paula, hey lady, we're going to be working together. I think I started to say that. She said yes, yes we are. Absolutely. OG, oh, you shared the live, didn't you, OG? Thank you so much. Maria is here, another lifelong friend. I'm waving at you, Maria. Thank you for being here. Wow, this has been awesome. I know, Jerica, I know you're as appreciative. I'll let you say your own words. But I am, oh, thank you, Floss. Love you too. My manifesting buddy. Floss is the bomb, guys. You guys have to go to his page, and he's always encouraging everyone to understand how powerful you are. OG is the same way. OG is such a nurturing. I'm going to say that about you, OG. He really supports my work, and he shares every single thing that I talk about, and I'm so appreciative of it. Dawn, oh, Dawn just showed up. Thank you so much for being here, Dawn. Dawn told me she has also had brain balancing work in the past.
Mhm. Yeah.
And yes, Paula, you said you're on Floss's page, I believe. Is that what you're saying? You said I'm on his page, or do you mean you follow him? Yeah, so everyone here, first of all, I thank you so much for showing up. Jerica and I have been talking for quite a long time, and I'm glad that we have, because you know, we had to let it flow, and I'm so glad. You know, I decided, and I believe you did too, Jerica, that when we sat down to when we were going to come together to talk about the session, I think we both knew that it was going to go like this. I think we knew
Yeah, I didn't
we
have a
needed to
cutoff
just,
time.
yeah. See, I didn't formally know that, but I knew it. I just,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, so I'm just so grateful. I'm so honored to be able to do this work. I'm
Yes.
grateful to you for wanting to share your experience and being so gracious to be as transparent as
Yes.
you've been with everything that we talked about, because you could have been like, I don't want to talk about, you know. So I'm so grateful that you just have been an open book during this conversation. And we talked about everything from the brain balancing to Neville and all, you know, our experiences being in the conscious community, in terms of manifesting, because there's various conscious communities. And just, I
Yes.
think it's been an extremely valuable interaction. And it
Absolutely.
has been for me. I
Yeah.
don't know about nobody else. I know what it's been for me. So I
Yes.
am very thankful. And I want to allow you to share your thoughts, Jerica, and also to tell everyone what you are doing, what that procrastination moved out the way so that you can do
Yes.
the work that you're doing now, so that if anyone wants to join Jerica's upcoming 5-day challenge, correct?
Yes.
But I'll let you have your last words and then explain what you're doing, and then we're going to be out.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again for the session. Anybody that is on the fence thinking about it, you know when you know that this is your thing that you need to do. So answer that call and go ahead and do the thing. Like, just get out of your own way, do the thing, book the call so that you can continue to move forward. And my thing was the procrastination, because I was like, oh, I don't want to be too much, right? And I'm a business owner, so what is being too much? Like, go do your thing, go do what God has called you to do. So having that limiting belief behind that removed, I was able to go ahead and fully commit and embrace this new path that's wanting to be birthed, which is me offering publicity and media coaching, but tying in the manifestation piece to all of that work. So I have a 5-day challenge coming up. It's called Put Me on the Map. It's a 5-day media challenge to help you um, be an unapologetic leader of your message and manifest media success. That's what it's going to be about, because going into November, December, January, what do we always hear for Thanksgiving, Christmas? It's the New Year's resolutions, it's the gratitude, it's all of the personal development topics that people expect at this time of the year. And so hosts are going to be looking for experts like you and I and people on this live stream to interview. So I want to get you ready for those opportunities and help you find it. And this is 5 days of free. This training, I could sell this training for $1,000, but I'm going to do it for free. And you'll have to buy it after if you don't join us for the free days, but it's going to be totally worth it. And so that's what I'm up to. You can go to www.manifestmediasuccess.com to register. You can purchase the replays. The replays are like $27. And we'll have a private Facebook group. I'll be live in there daily. So that's what I'm up to, accepting my light and inviting other people to accept their light as well.
And let me tell you something. When you put that post out and I saw how it was written, your presence just shone through in that
Yeah.
post. And I said, let me jump on here. And
Yes.
because I could feel that the transformation that took place. You know, I'm a feeler anyway, but
Yeah.
I
I
just,
felt it too.
I was like, wait a minute, we got to get on
Yeah.
this, we got to get on this live and talk about the transformation that has
Yeah.
taken place. So everybody, take Jerica up on her challenge, on this opportunity. Join her for her 5-day challenge. I'm excited to see what is going to happen. I'm like, because I know you're in that flow. So y'all better
Yeah.
ride the flow. That's all I can say. You better get in the flow.
Yes.
But Paula said she's going to be watching the replay because she missed the whole beginning. No problem. That's why we love Facebook Live, because you'll be able to watch the replay. For anybody who does decide to watch the replay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Jerica and I appreciate your time, appreciate everybody that has shown up. Floss said all he needed was some popcorn, but he got his bottle of water and he enjoyed this, and it was amazing.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for being
And
here.
Floss, you helped to make it amazing by your interaction with us and all of that. So we really appreciate it. And everyone, I'm so sorry that I don't have the link right here, but I'm on my phone. I know that was Floss laughing. I'm on my phone and I do not want to mess this live up. So I will be sharing the link to my brain balancing session. What you're going to be doing is going to the lead page. You can sign up for the email. And what I notice is that there are quite a few people who have signed up for the email. However, you didn't do the confirmation of signing up for the email. And also, just because you signed up for the email, that don't mean you get no brain balancing session. You need to go to the bottom of the page. You need to go all the way to the bottom of the lead page and click the, what is it? I don't even know what the button says, but it's all the way at the bottom. Get started. That's what it says. Get started. Once you hit the get started button, it's going to take you to the page to go ahead and make your payment. Once you make that payment, it is automatically going to open you up to the calendar, my online calendar. You're going to go ahead and schedule. Schedule very consciously, please, because once you schedule your appointment, please, if you need to cancel or reschedule, your appointment, please allow 24 hours, because I got a life, y'all. I got a life. So when y'all schedule, please do it consciously. But I invite all of you, and this is for men and women. I want to make that clear also, because a lot of my work is geared toward just women. This opportunity is for men and women. And if you know of anyone that could use a brain balancing session, I'm your girl. I'm your girl. Did I freeze Jerica or something?
I think I have a call coming in, so it kind of made me do something happen.
Gotcha. Okay, we're wrapping it up anyway, and people are starting to leave us. It's starting to die down a little bit, which is fine. I just appreciate. I never. It always takes me forever to wrap it up, Jerica. Can you wrap it up for us? Because I don't be wanting to leave people and stuff, so it's hard for me to say goodbye. So maybe I'll just let the PR lady do it.
You said me wrap it up.
Go ahead and wrap it up, Jerica. I can't seem to say bye.
I think you wrapped it up well. I think the bow and the invitation was to get on the page, get on the email list, book your call, don't delay. This is your yes. So go ahead and just say yes to yourself and move forward. Don't let the monkey mind tell you you don't need it, or, oh my God, what are people going to think if I have to go get it? No, all that, let it go and move forward and book your session, because Lisa is amazing.
Okay, we're going to say good night now. Thank you so much, Jerica.
Yes.
I'll talk to you after for just a couple of minutes. And everybody, I will see you on the next video.
All right. Bye, guys.